Hey guys, and in this video coming from OCR A-Level Psychology Specification, we're going to talk about the options in applied psychology paper and the forensic option. Now, I always put this disclaimer on. I'm not sure what order you'll be seeing these videos in yet. I haven't decided what order I'm going to upload them, but you may or may not have seen any of the tech videos that I've shot yet. And as of now, when I'm recording this, I'm gonna be shooting those later today. I've already shot one, so you will be getting more tech content. Like I said, I'm not sure what sequence I'll be uploading this, but I know you will be getting some tech videos, and I've got a series planned, so that should be pretty interesting. I also want to say that I know not all of you are interested in this, but I think psychology is really interesting. Doing this specification has given me a new perspective on study and on lots of things really. So I think psychology is really interesting, and that's why I'm doing these videos. So you will be getting more tech videos. So just so you know. Anyway, what we're going to talk about in this video, as you can probably see by the title, is the effect of probation on offenders. Now, let's first talk a little bit about, for a bit of background information on what probation is. Obviously, probation is when you get out of prison, when you're eventually released from prison, you're not just released into the community. You're released onto some kind of program where you have to go and report to a person about how you're doing, and you have to report any changes of accommodation. You have to participate in any community programs they want you to. You have to update them on any changes of employment, anything like that. But does it work? Obviously, the objective of it is to reduce offending, but does it work? Well, that's where this study, May 1997, comes in. And what they aimed to do was to investigate the experiences of offenders on probation in England and Wales. So this is specific to England and Wales. So you've got generalisability problems there, because obviously the prison and the probation systems are different in the US and Canada and in lots of places throughout the world than they are in the UK. So their aim was to investigate the experiences of offenders on probation orders across England and Wales. So who did they select? Well, they selected 3,299 offenders from 22 probation officers throughout England and Wales, and each of those offenders was randomly selected. Now, this has got big ethics problems, because with part of one of the conditions of probation being that you have, in addition to the specific conditions set in your court case, with one of the conditions being that you have to do pretty much anything your probation officer asks you to do. They might not want to participate in this study, but they might feel like they have to. So there's significant problems with ethics and informed consent there. But yeah, 3,299 offenders from 22 probation offices around England and Wales. It says here there was a 40% dropout rate. So 40% of those dropped out at some point, with a disproportionate number of those coming from the London area. So more people dropped out from London than there was a ratio for between London and other places. So how did they collect data? Well, it was mainly quantitative data, so that's numbers and yes or no multiple choice type answers, and that's exactly what they used. Each of the participants was interviewed by independent researchers, so you've got less demand characteristics there, because if you were interviewed by your own probation officer, they have to submit reports, and if you said to them, I don't like probation, then they're probably less likely to look favourably upon you. So using independent researchers tries to get rid of some demand characteristics, although there still might be some of that's an important thing to consider, because if it's a choice between saying what they want to hear and going back to prison, lots of offenders on probation will just say what people want to hear so they can stay out of prison. That's common sense, really. So they were interviewed, and the majority of questions were either closed, so that's yes or no, closes yes or no, and multiple choice, so selecting for a number of options, but not being allowed to elaborate on those options. So you can't say I agree with option 1, but I also agree with option 2. You have to give one answer. The other type of question was a Likert score question. So that's like rate from 1 to 4, with 1 being the worst and 4 being the best. How good has your experience been on probation? It's that type of question. So those questions are quite they're easy to compare because it's quantitative data, so you can get some objective results for them, at least objective from the experimenter's point of view. They might be tainted by social reliability, as I was talking about before, but the comparisons would be objective from the experimenter's point of view, but it might not give them the participants the opportunity to explain the reasons for the answers. So it might be of limited usefulness. Okay, so let's get onto some results. 88% of those the final sample of offenders, so those 3,299 offenders minus the ones that dropped out, 88% of them felt that probation was either very useful or extremely useful. 60% felt that their probation officer would help on a personal level, and that they were there to talk to about housing problems, job opportunities, substance abuse problems, and factors like that. So far, we've got 88% felt that probation was useful or very useful. 60% thought their probation officer would help them individually. And that's to do with that suggested that the most useful aspect of a probation officer is that they provide someone independent to talk to. However, here's the real clincher: the point of probation isn't to keep offenders happy; it's to stop them from committing crime. And in spite of the social liability problems, if you say anything bad about this, that gives me an excuse to not help you and to put you on the road back into prison. In spite of that social liability, only 37% said that probation would stop them reoffending. So, although 88% said that probation was useful, it wasn't useful in terms of stopping them reoffending. It was useful in terms of managing their personal affairs, having someone to talk to. But when you think about that, that's not the main goal of probation. The main goal of probation is to stop offenders from reoffending. So, from that perspective, that would suggest that probation isn't very useful. So we've got a 40% dropout rate. We've got 88% felt it was useful. We've got 60% thought the probation officer would help them individually. So those are quite positive statistics. But then we've got only 37% said that they thought probation would help reoffending. And then when we look at the results, less than a quarter of the offenders. So over a third of the offenders. So that's more than that means less than a third didn't reoffend. So that's less than that 37%. Less than a third of the offenders went on to reoffend, and I don't know what timescale that data was collected in. So even out of those 37% who did say probation would stop them reoffending, even a lot of those people went on to reoffend. So this study I actually carried out with a cooperation from the Home Office. So even this study by the Home Office, a government body in the UK that's responsible for lots of aspects of the penal system, even their study found that it only stopped 37% of people from only 37% of people thought it would stop them reoffending, and it actually stopped less than there was actually a third of offenders did indeed go on to reoffend. So that would suggest that it isn't actually that useful in terms of that core goal of stopping offenders from reoffending. Now, let's talk about evaluation here. So, well, I've already touched on. So there's definite social desirability and demand characteristics. In order to start a prison, you might just say what the person wants to hear. There's sampling bias problems in there. All the offenders came from England and Wales, so it may not be generalisable to other prison systems. A positive of this research is that quantitative data, so easy to compare and draw some objective comparisons. But those closed questions on the Likert scales are also a weakness because they because they don't allow the offenders to elaborate on why and explain the reasons for giving their responses that they did. Because if that had happened, that data could have been used to try and improve the probation system if the offenders had explained why, the reasons behind their responses. So those are just a few evaluation issues. That was May 1997. Experiences of offenders on probation across England and Wales. Just leave you with this final statistics. 88% said it was useful. 60% said their probation officer would help them on a personal level, but only 37% said probation would stop them from reoffending. So, Meg concluded that probation was seen as useful by offenders, but other social economic factors needed to be taken into account when thinking about reoffending. So even they acknowledged that it was slightly reductionist, and the socio-economic factors might have a big influence on that. Might be the fact that 40% of them, a disproportionate amount, dropped out from the London area. So that's something to consider, definitely. Anyway, guys, that's May 1997. Experiences of investigating the experiences of offenders on community-based probation orders. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.
Tom.
What?
Has anybody actually said any of these psychology videos helpful?
Well,